All right, Liam, I wanted to get into something that our pal Jason Gregor put up at Daily Faceoff. It is the most in-depth breakdown of every team's schedule that you will find. Head to dailyfaceoff.com to read the full story, but Gregor just kind of did a breakdown where he put up every team's distance traveled, back-to-back games, facing a team playing on the second night of a back-to-back, which I think is maybe the most important of it all, breaking down all their homestands, their longest homestands, all those things like that. So if you head to dailyfaceoff.com, you can read it. You can see it right there. But I want to focus on what Greg's had to say about the Oilers and kind of where they rank, because their schedule it's not the kindest schedule. Being a Western Conference team, the teams in the West are all spread out more. So when you see something, their distance traveled this season is 50,000 miles. That ranks them 29th in the league. It's whatever that would be, third most distance traveled in the entire NHL. So that is significant. That is high. But again, it's not like these Oilers aren't used to that. Back-to-back games, they're 20th in the league, so they are close to the bottom third in terms of the number and volume of back-to-back games they have to play, which is, again, not ideal. But the one that I actually, again, really like, facing a team playing the second night of back-to-backs, tied for 12th. That's in the top half of the league. To me, especially with this Oilers offense as good as it is, and again, a lot of those games are teams that have to travel and do the Vancouver, Calgary, then come to Edmonton to play them after. And I really, really think that benefits the Oilers a lot more than when you have to go to New York and you just stay in one hotel and you play the Islanders and the Rangers the next night, or you play the Devils and the Rangers the next night, or you're in PA and you're playing playing Philly, then you're a quick jump on a plane to Pittsburgh. Like, I do think these Eastern teams that have to travel all the way west, go back in the time zones and all of that stuff. I think the Oilers getting 13 instances where they play a team playing the second of back-to-backs is big. Their longest homestand this season is 6 games. It goes from January 21st until February 1st. Their longest road trip is later on in February, right at the end of the month. It's a 5-game road trip. So even their longest road trip isn't that extreme either. They have their home stands by games played. They play a 1-game homestand 4 times. They play 2 6 times, 3 4 5, and they do have the 1 6-game homestand in their season. If you look at the day of the week, they play 21 of their 82 games on Saturday nights, which is always a lot of fun as well. And Gregor quickly throwing in sort of the quick or difficult part in their schedule. He said none of their back-to-back games occur on Saturday, Sunday, which is odd for Western Conference teams, typically going out, as I was saying, on those Eastern road trips. And this is another interesting part of their schedule. Their final 15 games are against Western Conference opponents, including 10 against Pacific Division opponents. So if you want to talk about a race for a division title, a race for potentially coming first in the Western Conference and getting home ice advantage to the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, having your final 15 games of the season all be within your own conference is insane. Liam, anything stand out to you?
I actually like what you just said then. I misread the part of the longest road trip. I thought it was the homestand. I kind of wish those were flipped a little bit. Like you get that homestand towards the end of the season when maybe you're in a race for the division. You got a bit of momentum on your side playing those 5 6 games at home. But I'd be curious to see who those 5 games on the road are against. But yeah, to close out the season with all those specific games, I guess that's a good thing because you're probably going to catch some bad teams. To be honest, like Anaheim, Calgary, and San Jose might be 3 of the worst teams in the NHL this season.
They get
Seattle, sorry,
Sorry,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was just
Oh,
gonna say they get San Jose 3 times in the final 3 weeks of the season.
yeah, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
A very defeated team at that point too,
Oh
probably.
yeah.
Seattle, you got an idea, and the Pacific's going to be. I don't want to
Dog
get
shit.
ahead of it, but it's going to be a breeze. Like 3 of the teams we already know are going to suck. Seattle have been in limbo, but probably have a good idea. And then LA, Vancouver, and Vegas, they'll all be solid playoff competing teams. That's for sure. So
Yeah.
maybe the schedule's not so bad, but they have that weird one in there, don't they? Where they play Seattle on the road and then like 2 nights later they play in Boston or something stupid. Like that's just idiotic from the
Yeah.
NHL schedulers.
if the Oilers are at a point late in the season where they need to go on a run and go like pedal to the floor again, I think that schedule at the end really, really benefits them. Their final 9, 10, 11, 12, their final 13, their final 15 games. I want you to count how many of these teams you think will be like far out of the race by the time we get to those final 15 games. All right.
Okay,
So it
ready.
goes.
Ready.
So out of the 15 games, Utah, Winnipeg, Seattle, Dallas, Seattle, Calgary, and then you go to April and it's Vegas, San Jose, LA, Anaheim, St. Louis, San Jose, Winnipeg, LA, San Jose. How many do we get that are out of the playoffs?
I said 9 games. And I was counting St. Louis because I'm bitter.
Oh yeah, they're gonna stink this year. So I'm with you.
Yeah, like obviously Dallas, so it won't be easy. LA, I'm going to assume they're fighting for a wild card spot.
Probably.
Vegas, obviously, I think Vegas could be the worst team in the league, and it'd still be a good game just with the rivalry they've built. And that's the same with LA as well, to be honest. So, yes, I like seeing those Anaheim Ducks masks. Can't wait to see Macklin Celebrini on April 11th. What's he been up to for the year?
That'll be, like the Oilers won't see Celebrini until then. One other thing Gregor pointed out with the schedule that I thought was really good. He said, quote, the NHL is talking about extending the season so they'll have an equal number of games within the division. So they'd make it, I think, an 84-game regular season, which is insane. Gregor says that works, but the easier change would be having 28 games in the division and only 22 versus the other division in your conference. It is odd that the Oilers play Vancouver and Calgary 3 times this year, and they also play every Central Division team 3 times this year. That makes no sense.
No, it's stupid. Like the point of these divisions was to create rivalries. And to be fair, it has done that, like with LA and the Oilers and Vegas and the Oilers, but like everybody knows the Oilers' biggest rivals are Vancouver and Calgary, and we only play them 3 times. Like Calgary more than not. Like I don't think, and maybe I'm wrong, since the BOA, we've had more than 3 games in a season against Calgary.
Correct.
Which is insane. Like that was such a fun series. I know it was only 5 games, whatever it was, 6 games, whatever, but still, like that sucks to play. I found out what the longest road trip was and who they play. You want to hear it? You're not gonna like it. Philly, 11 a.m. game on Saturday.
Hell yeah.
Washington back-to-back, 11 a.m. Then they have Tampa Bay, Florida, Carolina.
Okay, so they got to do like the old Southeast Division road trip kind of thing. It's not a fun road trip at all. Remember they went through that last year, right at the end of November, and they had that miserable game against the Carolina Hurricanes when McDavid and Draisaitl tapped gloves on the bench.
But what happened the next game?
The game against Washington, that when you and I asked all the players at the Stanley Cup final, we said, what was the moment that turned around your season? It was that road game against Washington, matinee, 11 a.m. or 1 p.m. start or something like that. They won 5-0. Matthias Janmark gave a very passionate speech to the team. Draisaitl and McDavid stood up, said, everyone, we are turning this shit around right now, and we are committing to playing good defense. And from that point on, they were the best team in the league.
Yeah. So benefit them, I suppose. They'll have their reunion on February 23rd. Their 11 a.m. game against Washington.
I love a good 11 a.m. Oilers game. I know people or whatever, but like it's great sitting there with a cup of coffee, waking up and turning on an Oilers game. So good.
It is nice. It kind of feels weird when the game's done. You're like, oh, I have my day ahead of me.
Awesome.
Pre-gaming at 10 a.m. feels weird, but
that's fair. That's fair. What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.